Alright guys, hey, this is Sean, and I'm with Mr. Stephen McPullen. As always, we are talking through the Bozeman project, which is our secret weapon that we've been brewing for about a month, and we just haven't brought it to you guys because we've been doing our deck building contest and did not want to interfere with that. So now we finally get to unveil it, and I am playing my zombies list. Steven's going to be on uh, the Bozeman project. It's a Bant control deck. We started with blue, white, red miracles with like a blue, white, red control, and we've turned it into this deck. Um, yeah, let's. So the miracles is probably the biggest thing, and it started out with Terminus. Was probably the biggest reason that we started playing miracles. You want to talk about why we were playing Terminus?
So the biggest reason why we're playing Terminus and not focusing so much on Supreme Verdict was the main deck we need to beat is zombies. Um, Zombies doesn't really die very well to Supreme Verdict, whereas the Terminus is a complete board wipe. Like puts them on the bottom of the library, um, gets rid of Gross Messenger and his Undying, gets rid of Gravecrawler and its stupid recurring from the graveyard, gets rid of all the Lawless Trolls regen, gets rid of all the indestructibility of Falconwrath Aristocrat, and best of all, you don't take damage from Blood Artist, which is really annoying, a pain to take. But we felt Terminus as a 4 of is kind of like the heart of the deck right now. It's the whole reason why the deck exists. Without it, it really wouldn't survive.
So that last card that Steven just cast was a Feeling of Dread. And it's really good. It's one in the white, tap two creatures, instant speed, one in the blue, flashback. So you just tap two of my guys. The thing that it does is it forces you, as an aggro deck, to overcommit to the board, and then eventually Steven's going to sweep the board. So you get in this weird balance of like, okay, I don't want to dump my whole hand out on the board because if he does hit that sweeper, then I have nothing to continue with. But you also want to put enough pressure that you're still. I mean, you got to win the game, and so you can't just sit back and wait for him because he's going to win the long game. So it puts you in a really awkward spot, and the card is surprisingly good. Um, that was Augur Bolas that he played as well, which we've been talking about. It was not we had it as a 2 of in the original list, and it's up to 4. It's amazing because it finds you answers, but even when it doesn't find you answers, what it's doing is it's digging you closer to that miracle, and so if you hit nothing with it, you know you're that much closer to hitting an Entreat the Angels or a Terminus off the top of your library.
Yeah, and that's critical. And the fact that he's also a 1/3 really does help the fact that he can block zombies very well. Like he can block Gravecrawler all day. He can block Lawless Troll until they pump him. He can block Diagraph Ghoul. He can block pretty much everything, and usually survive, which is amazing. Here you see a timely Terminus hard cast from hand. The only reason I can do that is because Feeling of Dread bought me the time to get there, which is why Terminus works in this deck so well. If you didn't have Feeling of Dread or some way to really stop zombies' constant onslaught, you would not have time to hardcast Terminus. But right now I'm just kind of in a desperate moment right now because Garrick is still on the field. I can't really deal with him because the only way I can really deal with him is with Detention Sphere, which is an interesting and awesome new card. We will get to see some of that in a later game. And I have a 1 of Devastation Tide, which is an interesting way of dealing with zombies. It forces them to have to recast everything, which is pretty effective of slowing them down. It's essentially a 5th less powerful Terminus, but it's still effective.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that are playing zombies, Garuk is 1 of in my deck, and I really, really like him. He's very good. Right there, so I play my crawler, I get to tutor for a messenger, and Garuk's sitting at 1 now, but I now have the ability to play that messenger and then tutor again. So Stephen Miracle's a Terminus because I'm presenting lethal. We get rid of those guys, and he has a chance just to finish this turn. But when I untap, it's bad news. So this is one of those times where if you're a fan of Batman, you reach across the table, put your hand on the back of your opponent's neck as a control player, and you say, Do you feel like you're in control? Because he's not. So Draws Messenger for 2, sack him for 2, get a Draws Messenger for 2, and boom, Zombies gets there. Let's go to game 2. We'll see what this looks like after sideboard.